Well, I think there was a very good discussion of what's going on in Illinois. I'm very concerned because Illinois has great opportunities. We've got a wonderful state with some of the best farmland in the world. We've got some of the best universities in the world. The University of Illinois in particular is doing very, very well today. We're a transportation hub. We've got a great tourist destination, the city of Chicago. But the politicians keep screwing it up. In support of what the governor is attempting to do, I filed legislation today, ethics legislation, that would make it illegal for elected representatives or senators to be involved with appeals, such as property tax appeals. Look, our horrendous property tax is a serious problem, and we've got a corrupt situation where some of our representatives have been making a great deal of money off of the corrupt system. That's got to change. I think this ethics legislation is a step in that direction.
Well, first, I'm glad the governor was talking about positive things, that Illinois has a rich history, that our economy is coming back, that we're expanding manufacturing, and that more jobs have been created in the last couple of months. That's the good news. But he did talk about what Illinois still has to do, which is we have to get government living within its means, and we can't keep thinking raising taxes is the solution. And he talked about we have to grow our way into prosperity. And we can do that. We've proven that in the past. So I think the governor's speech was upbeat, and I'm confident that his message will resonate across the state. Looking forward to working with the governor on trying to get both a balanced budget but improving the jobs climate, and I think with a bipartisan goal of putting Illinois first, we can get that done.
Well, I think part of today's speech is to look at the past, not only to reflect on where we've come together, but to look at that as a blueprint of how we might work together in the future. This year's an incredibly important year. We need to demonstrate to the public that we're able to come together in a bipartisan manner, pass a balanced budget to enact some of the economic reforms that we know our state needs to see. I think, part of today's speech is to put the flag in the ground and to commence that legislative process.
The governor had a quote that I thought was good. He said, "Turn yesterday into tomorrow." And what he was talking about was the amazing assets we have in our state and how what we've done is let the political process really not take advantage of those assets. He mentioned, I didn't know this number, Illinois has the 17th largest economy in the world. I mean, you think of that, and then we have people leaving the state. Well, there's a problem with that, right? So, we think of all the assets we have, where we are first in soybean, second in corn, fourth in hog production, third in manufacturing production, third best in the country with regard to our airport hubs. We have so many assets. And then the other thing the governor really focused on today was the assets we have with regard to the people that live in our state. And I was surprised with just the number of engineers we're getting out of the state of Illinois and how he compared that to other states. So we've got tremendous things ahead of us. We got to get our political process fixed. Yeah, just want to stay on that for just a moment. We have a huge election coming up this year, and I really look forward to doing my job to make sure we're working together across the aisle to get things accomplished. So people are really working at who are the best leaders that can move ahead. And we've got to have a bipartisan approach, but we've had some broken leadership in our state, and some of that needs to change.
Well, I had three main takeaways. First, I was really glad that the governor reminded everybody that we have a lot of talent and resources in Illinois, and what is right with Illinois can fix anything that is wrong with the state. We can overcome our challenges. It's important that we all remember that. The second takeaway that I had was that the governor called on us to work together on some projects that we've already shown the ability to gain traction on in order to make sure that the people of Illinois can trust their government. Being able to trust their elected officials to do the right thing was an important point that the governor made. The third and final takeaway that I had was it goes without saying that we do not grow our economy by expanding government or raising taxes. The governor correctly noted, as he has correctly noted in the past, that if you're going to grow our economy, we have to have some pro-business reforms and we have to cut spending. So those were my takeaways from what I thought was a very good speech.
Well, I had three. My ears perked up when I heard united we can create thousands and thousands of jobs. I think both parts of that sentence are true, and everybody needs to keep in mind it does need to be united, and it can be thousands and thousands. I think my ears perked up again when I heard that government needs to work for the people, not against them. I think lots of times people feel like the government is setting up obstacles, and we need to stop doing that. And then finally, I love any pitch for term limits, and when that came across, that perked up my ears the most of anything out there.
I heard a lot of good issues. It had the little sense of it in the chamber of Groundhog Day. I mean, once again, the governor is up lecturing the Democrat majority that it's important to have a growing economy and give individuals and families a chance at a job at which they can support themselves and their families. It's important to balance your budget. I mean, those are basics that most other states, most other legislators get. My hope is that this year it penetrates on the Democrat leadership and we actually move the state forward.
Well, I thought it was a great speech and talking about where we need to go. He's reiterated the same thing over the past 3 years. And to me, it's kind of up to us now as legislators to fill that gap. It all comes down to communication with the other side of the aisle and figuring out where the middle ground is on a lot of these reforms and a lot of these issues that we're facing. I was happy to hear in his speech when he was talking about the good things that have happened over the last couple of years. Two of those things have happened right in my district with the nuclear plant deal that we got done, saving those jobs, and also the harvest emergency bill that I sponsored in the Senate. So a lot of the good things that are happening started right in the 36th district, and I was proud of that, and I was happy to hear about it.
Well, I was happy that the governor started out on a positive note, recognizing all the attributes and assets that Illinois has and the accomplishments that we've had as a state. And going forward, recognizing how to build on those is to bring back jobs. And job growth and creation is going to be what's the secret to the prosperity of Illinois. And so it's an old message, but it's still true. And in my time at the House and the Senate, those are policies I've worked on, is workmen's compensation reform. As he pointed out, it's been done in other states, blue states that have largely democratically controlled general assemblies. And likewise, the same would be of Illinois. And we have he pointed out, Illinois has got like the 17th highest producing gross national product within among the world. And so the things that we have here are incredible. But what we need, we're losing population and we're losing jobs. So to bring those back, it's key that we have those policies in place and the things that we need to do in a bipartisan fashion and get the job done. And so, his focus on education, recognizing the Quincy Veterans Home as a priority is very important to me because I represent Quincy and I'm very familiar with the Quincy Veterans Home and recognize what an asset it is to the region and the state and the service it does for our veterans of Illinois. So, he hit on many of the things that were very important to me.
Any other points you'd like to add?
No, I thought he did a great job. I thought he was positive and offered the olive branch to say, let's get the job done. We can do it if we do it together.